My name is Ailbhe Gerrard. I'm farming Brookfield Farm on the shores of Lough Derg in County Tipperary. It's a diverse farm. A lot of the farm is trees, about a third of it is broadleaf trees and native woodland. The rest is split between fertility building multi-species lays and also some experimental crops, but importantly I make honey from bees that I keep on the farm as well. The biodiversity on the farm is really important to me because as farmers we're using the ecosystem to produce food, and for me it's more important to produce food as well as looking after the habitats, the places for wild animals and insects and birds to live, and also the life under the soil. Trees are a really important part of my farming system, and most importantly I'm farming organically, so that puts limits on herbicides, sprays, artificial fertilisers, all those things that have an impact on biodiversity, water quality and soil quality. In Ireland we have 120,000 farmers approximately. 18,000 of them are dairy farmers, and the majority of farmers really want to look after the ecosystem upon which we all depend. In my view, we need to move away from farming as an extractive industry where you're taking out more than you're putting back in. What we need to do really is to help farmers move towards a system where it's much more holistic, where we're regenerative, where we're producing a lot of our fertility from the life in the soil. What we need to do in farming is bring that knowledge about how to farm regeneratively to the majority of farmers and help them move out of a high resource usage system. Field exchange is an idea that came out of helping farmers talk to each other, because we can be very isolated on our farms by ourselves. So it's about bringing farmers together, bringing creativity back into agriculture, using artworks and using experts and using farmers and people of the general public, all putting them together to learn something about different topics of sustainable farming, which included things like dairying with a difference, biodiversity on the farm. There's a whole range of topics that we brought people in to talk to farmers about. The biodiversity crisis in Ireland is really concerning me because we've got an ecosystem that is, according to some experts, on the brink of collapse. And we don't realise until it's gone how important it is. And it's not going to work to keep on putting in resource-intensive artificial fertility and resource-intensive pesticides and herbicides. So worst case scenario, we're going to basically break the ecosystem that we're depending on. The use of chemicals is going to make our health worse, and that we're going to be eating less healthy food. Best case scenario is that we support farmers to make a transition towards a greener form of agriculture in broader terms, using less resources. We need more support for farmers in finding new markets, making new markets as well. And we have to work out where is the market, what's a new market, what can we do with this, and then get help to produce it. And farmers can do that, I think, really effectively. You could take one aspect on your farm that you're really interested in. I think there's great potential for farmers to have niche products. For me, the great thing about beekeeping is that it made me think about all the insects on the farm, and that spread out to thinking about habitats for not just for bees but for all the native bees. Out of that comes a real understanding about looking after the habitats that insects need and animals need, and then out of that you can develop honey from the honeybee, but also the beeswax leads into craft, making beeswax candles, teaching people how to make candles, talking about how to look after the native bee. That's what I mean about bringing creativity back into farming, is that explore your interests, your passion, your hobbies, and see if that can fit in with making a bit of extra money on the farm. And then who knows, maybe your son can have an extra business out of that. Maybe your niece, instead of having to go away for work, maybe she can get a job on farm. You know, there's ripple effects that can really happen here. I'd like to look at a joyful future for farming. We're not farming in a productivist way, where we still have much better income, because at the moment it's the huge amount of the profits that we're making in the middle with the processor and with the middleman, with the retailer. So there's a huge opportunity to change that, for the farmer to get to the consumer directly and to set up our own kind of co-ops in things like wool and in hemp and new crops and community supported agriculture. But we need changes of policy to help us do that. But there is potentially an enormously positive, energetic, community-based, joyful, profitable future for agriculture that I would very much like to be part of.